Denver is about to change fast. By 2026, mega projects in Cherry Creek, downtown, RiNo will reshape where people live, work, and play. The big question is which projects will move prices first and which ones will just cause chaos. Today, I'll show you the 5 biggest game changers on the map and why they matter. I'm Landon Smith, a full-time realtor here in Denver, and I help people navigate big market shifts just like this so that you can make confident decisions before the headlines start driving prices. Before we zoom out across the city, let's start with the luxury anchor that sets the tone for everything else, Cherry Creek West. So the Cherry Creek West project is a big one. It's going to completely redevelop the west side of Cherry Creek. That's going to be headed by East-West partners and Centuries. And by 2036, you're going to see an incredible west side of Cherry Creek. It's about 13 acres on that west side. From First Avenue and the Cherry Creek Trail, you'll have 7 buildings with 13 stories tall in each building. Roughly 825 residential units are expected to be built, and 600,000 square feet of Class A office and 100,000 square feet of retail and dining space. So we're talking a massive project, estimated to be about $900 million to $1 billion. And the first phase completions are projected to be done between 2028 and 2029. And so you may ask, like, what's the breakdown of this space? You know, they've said that over 1/3 of the site is reserved for plazas, open space, and Cherry Creek Trail enhancements. Affordable housing in Cherry Creek, you may ask? Yes, they are planning on 99 permanently affordable units as part of Denver's inclusionary housing agreement. But this kind of change comes with growing pains. Construction officially kicks off in 2026, and for the next few years, drivers and business owners near First Avenue will feel the crunch. Expect lane closures, detours, and heavy equipment taking over the old surface lots. Still, short-term chaos tends to lead to long-term payoff. For nearby homeowners in Hilltop, Glendale, and even parts of Wash Park, this level of investment usually means one thing: property values rise. By 2028, Cherry Creek West won't be just another mixed-use development. It'll be Denver's new benchmark for upscale urban living, blending community, commerce, and connection into one of the most walkable luxury districts in the country. While Cherry Creek West will redefine luxury living in central Denver, another groundbreaking project is making history in a completely different way. Denver's new professional women's soccer stadium called Santa Fe Yards is going to bring a lot of change around this area in South Denver and around that South Broadway area. Denver has a history of producing some amazing female soccer players and athletes across the board. You got Lindsey Horan, who came from Golden, Colorado, who is a midfielder for a professional club in France and also was on the U.S. women's soccer team. Another example is Mallory Swanson, formerly Mallory Pugh, who was from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. She's a forward for the Chicago Red Stars and played on the U.S. women's national team. There's some really cool history going on here as far as this being the first women's professional sports stadium in Colorado. So Santa Fe Yards is what it will be called. It's 14 acres of redevelopment right near I-25 in Santa Fe, and it's going to be right in the Baker district in Denver. It's going to hold 14,500 seats, you guys. It'll be designed by Populous, which is the global firm that designed Coors Field and Empower Field. And the estimated cost on this is between $250 and $300 million for this project, and $70 million in public land and infrastructure support that's all been approved by the Denver City Council. Construction is expected to begin late 2025, and the stadium would open in the spring of 2028. And so it'll also have a lot of surrounding development. Some planned mixed-use entertainment district, including retail, dining, and community spaces will all be built around the stadium. It will also have some enhanced light rail access that will tie this into the public transportation. It'll be improved for parking and roadway upgrades as well. And history tells us that these growing pains are often worth it. Just look at what Coors Field did for Lodo. What started as a gamble in a rundown warehouse district became the heartbeat of downtown Denver. For neighborhoods such as Athmar Park, Valverde, and Westwood, this could be the beginning of something similar. The Santa Fe Yards project has the potential to turn a largely industrial corridor into one of the most vibrant entertainment zones in the metro area, leading the charge for both urban renewal and the future of women's sports. Speaking of transformative projects, the next development might be the most ambitious in Denver's modern history. We're talking about the Ball Arena project. which is going to be a massive undertaking. About 55 to 64 acres of redevelopment surrounding Ball Arena that most currently surface parking lots is going to be taken over by this amazing west side of downtown district. And we know the developer is Kroenke Sports and Entertainment, who owns all of that land. They're going to be in coordination with the city of Denver and ZGF Architects, and they'll create a master plan design and then carry that out over the next 20 to 25 years, with initial site work expected to begin in late 2025, with phase 1 construction in 2026. The scope is up to 10 to 12 million square feet of mixed-use space, including residential office space, retail, hospitality, and entertainment venues. They're also expecting around 6,000 new residential units planned across all phases. The first phase will be 4 buildings, approximately 13 stories each, and a hotel, a music venue, and 2 residential towers with 300 homes and 400 underground parking spaces. You may ask, how much is all this going to cost? No official cost has been published, but urban economists estimate multi-billion value based on scale and timeline. The Kroenkes have always kept that sports commitment in the forefront of their minds, and the Nuggets and Avalanche are locked into Ball Arena through 2050, so nothing is changing there, we've been told. That'll ensure long-term activation of the district. Yes, it's true. This would mean Elitch Gardens, the classic amusement park that I grew up loving as a kid and that many of you have as well, would be either relocated or taken down. And you may be wondering, what's the breakdown? Well, we know that 20% of the land is reserved for parks, plazas, and pedestrian corridors. So there will be some nice green space. And also there's going to be a really good sized bridge that will go over Spear Boulevard. That the thought is to connect this new Ball Arena area and all the parking area that's going to be redeveloped with the lower downtown area at Lodo. The downside, it's going to be a logistical nightmare for a while. Anyone driving to Nuggets or Avalanche games will feel the pain as thousands of parking spaces disappear for construction. Traffic on Spear and Auraria Parkway will tighten, and getting to Ball Arena could mean shuttles, detours, and crowds for years. But as with Union Station and Riverfront Park, the short-term pain is usually followed up by massive payoff. And by the 2030s, this project could double Denver's urban core and create a 24/7 destination for sports, music, and entertainment. While the Ball Arena project will transform downtown's core, another major development is reimagining Denver's relationship with the South Platte River. So the River Mile project will span between the South Platte River corridor north and west of downtown Denver. The River Mile scale is 62 acres of mixed-use development on the former Elitch Gardens site and adjacent riverfront. And this is coupled with the Denargo Market project, which is going to be developed by Clarion Partners and JP Morgan. Denargo Market will be 17 acres within RiNo, planned for 3 million square feet of residential, office, and retail space. They're planning on investing multi-billion dollars of value into this project. Denargo alone has already seen $190 million spent on infrastructure and parks. And so as far as housing goes, on the Denargo side of this, you're gonna have about 1,000 new units in multiple towers. And then the River Mile project could add another 7,000 units over the long-term build out. So about 8,000 plus units of housing will be developed through this project. And the Denargo's first vertical construction is planned to begin in late 2025 with its first 16-story apartment tower, which will be 380 units, delivering in 2027. The River Mile project is still in infrastructure and flood control phases, with vertical development expected to be closer to 2028 to 2030. Also, there's going to be 4 acres of park area that are actually already opened in the Denargo Market this year. For nearby neighborhoods like RiNo, 5 Points, and the Highlands, this is a game changer. Once the River Mile fully takes shape later this decade, Denver will have something it's never had before. A true waterfront district that blends nature and city living in a way that rivals what Austin did with the Colorado River or what Portland did with the Willamette. While these urban projects are reshaping Denver's core, one of the most intriguing developments is happening in the suburbs. So we're talking about the RidgeGate Expansion, and mentioning this is all residential mainly, right? We're gonna have this massive community. Shea Homes is the developer, and this is gonna be right off of RidgeGate and Lincoln and I-25. That whole section, that's 700 acres, is gonna be expanded, and they already have active new construction going up in this community, so it's no surprise. But I was surprised when I looked into it. There's gonna be almost 2,000 homes across all the phases, and over 100 homes are completed already, about 275 move-ins expected in 2025. So you'll have just under 400, homeowners already living there in this community, and it's only just begun. You're gonna have some senior living at the Reserve at Lone Tree, which is gonna be a 209 unit senior living community that actually already opened in May of 2025. And so that's active. And then you've got luxury apartments that are coming as well. Century Living is developing a 340 unit luxury apartment project that's expected to open around mid 2026. Also, they're expected to bring in a King Soopers, 123,000 square foot King Soopers. That'll be anchored by a retail center, public works, justice center, mobility hub at Skyridge Station, and RiNo Regional Park, which is going to be an 80-acre park. The biggest concern is traffic. That's going to place heavy pressure on C470 and Lincoln Avenue and that whole stretch right where I-25 meets C470. However, this expansion isn't just a sprawl. It's a thoughtfully engineered community in the making. If the infrastructure scales as planned and the amenities deliver, RidgeGate's expansion could set a new standard for suburban growth in the Denver metro. Not just quantity, but quality. Speaking of growth and expansion, there are some major developments happening at Denver International Airport that could reshape the entire region. So stats in 2025 showed that Denver was the 6th busiest airport as far as flights in and out in the world. So this airport is not slowing down. It's actually increasing in activity. And so therefore, United Airlines, in partnership with the city of Denver and Denver International Airport, decided to acquire 500 acres of land right near DIA. And the purpose was to create house training facilities, aircraft maintenance hangars, and operations support campuses to meet long-term growth demands. And this investment is expected to be between $800 and $900 million. This is going to add a lot of jobs, expected to create 3,000 to 3,500 new aviation and logistics jobs. This is expected to break ground late 2025 with major facility completions by 2028. DIA has a vision called the 100 Master Plan, and this expansion aligns with that plan. What it means is they're targeting 100 million annual passengers coming in and out of DIA. But with that kind of growth comes pressure. Pena Boulevard is already stretching thin. For locals, the next few years could bring noise, dust, and years of construction as the airport's footprint continues to sprawl forward. Still, this expansion represents an enormous economic opportunity for the entire region. By 2028, this stretch of land won't be just another airport extension. It'll be one of the most dynamic growth zones in the entire metro area. With all these projects transforming Denver by 2026, one question remains for potential buyers, sellers, and investors. So what does this actually mean from a real estate standpoint? Across all projects, Denver is on track to see between 10,000 and 15,000 new residential units over the next decade. And so when we talk about timeline, most of these projects are breaking ground at the end of this year, with initial openings projected between 2027 and 2029. This is going to bring a great amount of jobs and investment to our area. Combined private and public investments across these districts likely exceeds $10 billion with a capital B, supporting an estimated 20,000 permanent jobs once fully built out. So if you look at real estate trends, past projects of this scale have driven 15 to 30% appreciation within 5 years of completion in nearby neighborhoods. All of these projects are a double-edged sword for buyers, sellers, and investors. In the short term, expect friction, construction noise, tighter parking, and more cranes than Skyline for at least the next few years. But over the long run, this unprecedented building wave represents one of Denver's strongest opportunities for wealth creation in decades. For strategy, buyers should focus on neighborhoods gaining new parks, bridges, and transit links without paying for direct adjacency. Sellers in those areas can time listings around grand openings between 2027 and 2029 when buyer demand peaks. Investors looking at small multifamily and townhome products in nearby corridors like RiNo, Five Points, Cherry Creek, and the DIA corridor could capture strong appreciation as infrastructure matures. These projects aren't just reshaping Denver's skyline, they're rewriting its economic foundation, positioning the city for a decade of renewed real estate momentum. If you're interested in learning more about these major projects that might impact specific neighborhoods or your property's value, I'd love to chat. Whether you're considering buying, selling, or just curious about the future of Denver real estate, these developments will have major implications for property owners across the metro area. So give me a call or shoot me a text at the number on your screen, and let's talk about positioning yourself to benefit from Denver's next big growth wave. If you found this breakdown breakdown of Denver's biggest developments helpful, you won't want to miss my next video, where I break down the data, market shifts, and expert predictions that could send Denver's housing market into overdrive. Click right here and I'll see you in the next video.